So we have another great dynamic speaker, and also I have the pleasure to introduce one of our sponsors for the conference who's made this all possible, Richard Owens. And Richard Owens has been in Asia for 30 years, and he's still as outgoing as ever. He shocked me yesterday on the escalator and saying hello, and looking forward to speaking here, and I'm looking forward to listening, as I hope you all are as well. He's Executive Vice President for Customer Solutions and Innovation for DHL in the Asia Pacific region. And what we've been seeing today about data and such, one of the things that always has touched my heart is I can go online and go to Amazon, buy a set of flowers, have them purchased, and Amazon will tell me, okay, I picked it, I've put it onto a carrier, the carrier's moved to its hub, it's on the plane now, it's going to the location, and I can even get a picture of the signature once it's received. But if, on the other hand, at Estee Lauder, when I was there for 13 years, we'd moved to a $20 million shipment, a container. As soon as it got to the customs broker, it would disappear. And people would be calling, oh, where is it, where is it, where is it? Well, we don't know, we have to call this person, email that person, and so forth. And finally, 4 weeks later, after it clears custom, we might hear, oh, it's now moving on its way. So it's interesting that how we've made investments on a $40 purchase and can see that visibly, and for a $20 million movement of significant goods, we don't have that visibility. So I'm looking forward to hearing Richard share some of the innovation and insight. So please join me on the stage.
Good morning, everybody. And actually, I was very interested this morning when Rajesh made a literary reference. And actually, after listening to many of the presentations that we've heard yesterday and today, I think from a 3PL perspective, probably the literary reference I would make is more like 50 Shades of Grey rather than Pride and Prejudice, because there are so many aspects to supply chain and obviously the variables that exist within the industry verticals and from company to company really do make it quite a challenge. So what I'm going to talk about today really is about innovation and what is happening kind of in the supply chain world from a 3PL perspective, and really, you know, how this can hopefully help us move forward into some of the scenarios that we've heard about. You know, obviously there are a lot of changing dynamics. We've heard as well from Greg yesterday about the move from globalization to regionalization. We've heard about changing dynamics from Dan at Caterpillar, how they're really trying to create this network by onshoring rather than offshoring. HP, a huge amount of data there from Jaya, and all of which really has an implication on how we move forward. So really just to sort of talk about you know, how we're going to sort of go forward. The slides are not moving here, so yeah. Okay. So yeah, what I'd like to talk about today really is just innovation in the context of logistics, key drivers for innovation as a competitive advantage, and our approach, DHL's approach to innovation. I think probably the biggest innovation, this was a question that was asked at a conference earlier this year, the question was asked, what do people see as the biggest innovation in the logistics business? And the answer was overwhelmingly the creation of the metal box that people ship goods in nowadays. And I think it probably still rings true today. I think there's been very little physical or if you like, product innovation since then. Interestingly, though, now people are starting to innovate around that very old sort of product, the 20-foot and 40-foot box. And some of you may have seen this new development, the Tworty, which is sort of a combination of 20-foot and 40-foot box. It's real. This really is a development to allow people to sort of be a lot more flexible in how they use containers to sort of ship goods. They can really configure it the way they want. They have loading doors at both ends rather than just one loading door. So something which I think is going to come. We've also developed this double-decker way of loading containers, which allows companies to really maximize the utilization of containers and also protect their products as well in transit. I think most of you have seen this this story, the Dalawala distribution in India. This was probably also one of the early innovations. This was something which happened without any technology. It was a process innovation, if you like, to develop to deliver meals from homes to people's offices in India. It still goes on today. It's an incredibly efficient supply chain. So innovation is not just about products and technical products. It's about process as well. And I think this is a point that I'd really like to make. I think. Generally, when people talk about innovation, they tend to think about technology or physical product or assets. And really, the innovation I think that's taking place today in supply chain is more around process actually rather than product. The processes then demand certain types of technology and certain products to support them, but the innovation is really occurring in process. I guess the question is logistics an innovative industry? And my take on that really is that as a 3PL, we kind of really try to sort of be innovative. We in fact at DHL we invest very heavily. We have an innovation team. We have an innovation center. But really the innovation comes from our customers, from the people out there, many of them in this room, because of their changing demands and their changing markets. So really we have to be kind of listen very carefully to what those challenges are and try to come up with solutions. And so that's what's driving a lot of the innovation. But we see things like automated sorting centers for our mail business. Obviously barcoding is something very old now, but still plays a very big part in the supply chain. We talk about overnight deliveries in the USA. There's something which probably wasn't thought possible 10 or 15 years ago. And intelligent vehicles, this is something which is obviously being driven not just from an ecological perspective, but also from a cost perspective as well. Green solutions, definitely, we've heard from many of the presenters over the last day and a half, this is now a major agenda item for most companies now, how they can really provide sustainable solutions. And this is also driving innovation. Smart sensors and obviously security. I think yesterday we heard about risk management, about the natural disasters that really require companies to have continuity plans, and they require their suppliers to have continuity plans in place so that supply chains are not too disruptive. So I think some of the key drivers, we've heard about many of them actually, the changing customer needs, the move towards differentiated supply chain configurations, and those vary considerably depending on the industry that you're in. I think certainly listening to the presentation from Greg at Unilever and from Ajesh this morning, I think the FMCG market is really kind of leading the way here. They have very advanced supply chain models, and I think something we can all learn from. It's not something that we can just adopt and fit to any industry vertical, but there are many lessons there we can learn from, and certainly it's very impressive to see the scale and volumes that these companies are moving very, very efficiently. Another key driver are shrinking product sizes. I think we've all seen, the move away from, bulky kind of desktop computers and even notebooks to now tablets, smartphones, things like this. So there is this general move towards smaller sort of form factors for many of the products that are being shipped, and that's also creating, kind of a change in the dynamics. So something we're obviously thinking very hard about. And then cost pressures. Every company is in a very competitive market. When I talk to many of my colleagues, our customer managers, and they say, we have such difficult customers, and really the answer is not that we have difficult customers. We have a lot of customers who have a lot of difficulties that we have to try and help them manage, and I think that's something which again has come through very clearly from the presentations we've seen over the last day or so. Definitely the new business models that are emerging. I think that, we've been through a period where globalization, it was all about globalization, manufacturing in low-cost environments, sourcing components from all over the world and bringing them together to sort of assemble them in one location and then shipping out to final markets. I think there is a change happening. I think we are moving away from globalization. I think that there is a move towards regionalization. The urbanization that Jaya spoke about just now is driving a lot of that. I think that there are other considerations as well where, the need to sort of create consumer demand really comes with the need to create jobs in markets. So therefore, there is a logic to actually bringing manufacturing back to where those markets are. So, if you're not sort of employing people in those markets, they don't have the money to spend to sort of buy the products. So that is also driving some of those changes. Obviously, supply chain risks, we've seen it with some of the natural disasters that have occurred over the last few years, and they seem to be occurring at a more rapid rate, whatever the reason for that may be, whether that's environmental or whether it's just a period of time that we're going through. But certainly that is driving a need to sort of rethink and look at processes and look at how we can keep supply chains intact during those types of events. And then e-commerce, something which has been referenced many times, and we see this and we're involved in it, and we do sort of participate in this to some extent. But I think we're in its infancy, and I think there's going to be a huge growth in this over the next few years. So again, we have to look at how we can manage that, both from a physical perspective, how we can actually create the platform to provide information, how we can create the infrastructure to do those sort of types of last mile delivery, but also how we can sort of make it viable, because I think, as Jaya showed earlier, in China, when companies are delivering products over a value of $8 free of charge, that doesn't sort of create a very attractive business proposition for a company that's investing in assets and people to the extent that we do. So we really have to sort of think about that. Cloud computing definitely is an impact, and big data, definitely, it's all been referred to. And I think another thing which has been a very common sort of topic has been the need for improved visibility. And Keith made a very good point, though. I think there is this tendency to demand data and visibility and metrics and KPIs, but it's how that data is used, and is it providing value, or is it really creating it's really just sort of work for people that is not really giving value. So again, these are all the sort of things that are, require some thought, some innovation, some process redesign, and maybe some product design as well. So there's no doubt that it's an important tool. I think we can't stand still. The world is changing. The requirements of the consumer markets are changing. The sourcing patterns are changing, so we have to sort of innovate to be able to sort of keep pace with all of that. And obviously what companies such as DHL are doing is trying to sort of get ahead of that game and actually shape that as we move forward. Easier said than done. Most of the people that work in the industry are not scientists, we're not engineers, we're not all innovators, so we can very often be the channel that sort of provide that information to people that have those sort of skills. But we have seen within the automotive market, we've seen great sort of strides made in packaging solutions. Obviously the CKD and SKD movements are growing as new markets emerge, particularly in Africa, where there's a need to sort of consumer demand. The middle class is growing, as we heard earlier. People are buying cars, but they still don't have the infrastructure to build cars, so they're being sent in knockdown form. Obviously, just-in-time materials supply is a given now. People are not really surprised, anymore. People are looking at constantly driving down inventory levels, and certainly just-in-time is a way of doing that. For life science and the pharmaceutical industry, smart sensors have been developed. Also, Thermonet, which is a product we're very actively involved in, to sort of really make sure that we have, we maintain integrity of pharma products throughout the supply chain. And also direct to pharmacy. I think it was interesting to see Jaya's statistics that whilst the pharma industry has seen large margins, large growth rather, the margins are not really at the level supporting that growth. And one of the things that we've developed now is a direct to pharmacy model where we're taking sort of some of the links in the supply chain out so that we can really drive a more cost-effective solution. And then for technology, the end of runway logistics is something which is again key to what we're working on right now. This is around configuration of products at a destination point. It could be to do with service parts, logistics. Product returns is something which I think is still a big business for us, but I guess as companies become more efficient and product integrity is getting better, that business is probably not going to be quite as big as it has been in the past. And then technical services, actually, this is where 3PLs such as DHL are now providing certainly more than just first-line servicing of products that are returned. So previously we've done a sort of red-green light type testing, is the product working or not, and then if not, we hand it back to a technical services company. We're actually taking over some of that work now to sort of be able to sort of repair or reconfigure products. So something which is developing pretty quickly. So really, I guess our approach to innovation is, as I mentioned, many of the people that work in our industry are not innovators. We're not naturally innovators. Our skills lie in other areas. So at DHL, we have actually created an innovation team. We've brought together people, industrial engineers and process engineers, to sort of really focus on innovations, and by listening to the voice of our customers, we're able to really look at what the markets out there need. And currently we're working on 34 innovation projects. We look at, obviously one of our advantages as an organization, we do provide an end-to-end solution. We have everything from, road freight to express services, to the traditional forwarding services, through to warehousing, distribution, and value-added services. And the challenge for DHL is to make sure that we offer that end-to-end solution to our customers. And some of our customers want to buy an end-to-end solution from one provider. Some want to buy only parts of it. So, but for us, the real benefit is if we can offer that end-to-end, sort of one pair of hands, if you like, that helps our customers move their goods throughout their whole supply chain. We're still working on RFID. It's not new technology. It's been around for a long time. I think the application of RFID has still been somewhat sort of restricted. I think cost has been an element. It's very much a sort of chicken and egg situation where the cost of the sensors need to be at a level where they can be used once and disposed. So, we're getting to that point now. Smart sensor is around temperature control. We've worked on this and really come up now with a solution to make sure that we're able to sort of track temperature fluctuations throughout the transportation of goods. And then smart truck. This is driven very much currently in Europe, but it is certainly moving here to Asia, where we're not just looking at alternative methods of fueling our vehicles. We do have a lot of electric vehicles now in use, but it's also about scheduling our vehicles to make sure that we schedule them in the most time and cost-effective way, and also in a way that reduces carbon emission. DHL has a stated target to reduce our carbon emissions by 30% by the year 2015, actually, and we're well on track to do that. Even though, as an organization, we still rely very heavily on ocean carriers and airlines to sort of to manage a large part of of the supply chain. So this is quite a challenge, but I think there are many ways we can do this, and this is also part of the innovation journey that we're on. Recall solutions, another area that we're working very heavily on. We see quite constantly now product recalls where unfortunately the market or the world we live in, if there's an incident with a particular product, it might be just that one particular product, but the danger is it might be many more of the same products that's out there in the market. So companies really are forced to sort of recall products into to really either exchange them or check them and return them. So that's quite a big supply chain challenge and something which we're working on, and it goes from cars through to consumer electronics through to medical devices. So again, a huge opportunity there to innovate and really come up with solutions that can help our customers to deal with that. So just to sort of really sort of make sure that we're not holding you guys up too much from your coffee, I've tried to sort of shorten this a little bit. We do actually, from 2008, DHL has actually created innovation awards. We hold innovation days in our sort of annual calendar, currently at our innovation center in Europe, where we recognize the innovation that our customers bring, and certainly we've seen some incredible things. You know, I think the last winner of our innovation award was Renault, who are doing some great things around sort of battery technology for electronic vehicles. Really pretty impressive there. We reward our most innovative employee, and again, we're a large company. You know, we have a lot of people, and we love to see sort of people coming up with ideas, really thinking outside of the box, and always there are some great ideas out there, and then also we work with a lot of partners to sort of help us with our innovation journey, and we reward our sort of most innovative scientists and entrepreneurs that are out there. So, you know, innovation really is a key for us. I think that really to really help our customers to differentiate themselves, to really streamline their supply chains, to sort of deal with those 50 shades of grey that I mentioned. We need to be able to sort of work with them on that journey and really help them to sort of come up with solutions. I mean, I was really fascinated to hear some of the stories we heard over the last day and a half. That I think sometimes we don't always fully understand what is going on in the industries that we're serving, and some of the challenges that our customers are facing. So, first thing really for us is to really help understand that, listen to our customers, really work with them on sort of seeing what the challenges are that they face and what changes are occurring, so that we can help to sort of bring some innovation to their supply chain, and we'll continue to do that. So in conclusion, there are radical changes. I mean, we've seen this over the last sort of year or two, and certainly we've heard about it over the last day or two. So whilst there have been, I think, we recognize only a few important innovations from logistics, I think there are probably more out there than are obvious. I think that, innovation can mean many things. I mean, many of the supply chain practices that are common in developed markets are still quite some way away when we look at the developing markets. Some of the things that we're now bringing to Africa, for instance, are not new, but they're very new to Africa, and I think that this is innovation in its own way. Certainly, it will play a decisive role in the future. I think that every conversation I have with a customer, we always talk about innovation. The customers always have an expectation that we will innovate, we will bring innovation to them. And I think what we're still working on and getting clear in our minds is what does that really mean? Do they expect us to come with a new product and say, plug this in and it will help, or do they expect us to sort of come with sort of a process solution that can help them sort of really innovate? I think Stefan yesterday mentioned about disruptive innovation, and this is quite a common term nowadays. How can we bring innovation that really is a game changer? And so far, in my experience, there've not really been too many of those. I think that this is again a big challenge for the 3PLs here and out there in the market to really think differently and look at game changers. We're seeing already, huge mode shift. We're seeing companies that at one time wouldn't dream of putting their products on the ocean are now doing that. They used to say that electricity and water don't mix, but certainly technology companies now are shipping goods by ocean. We're also seeing rail services now deliver goods from China through to Europe. We're seeing cross-border trucking, which is still whilst it's been in place for probably FMCG for quite some time, it's now developing much more for some other products. So these, in a way, are I guess, in their own way, are game changers, but probably not to the extent that we'd like to see going forward. So certainly from our perspective, this is something which we see as essential. We'll continue to invest in innovation. We have an innovation center, as I mentioned, in Europe. We plan to open an innovation lab here in Singapore next year, in conjunction with EDB. And I think that to drive that, we need to sort of continue to listen to you guys out there. It's great to see that the companies that have been speaking over the last day or so have really been willing to share their thoughts and insights into their own challenges. So that without that, we can't sort of continue to sort of innovate and to try and help those organizations. So I hope that continues. We should certainly encourage that with our customer base, and we will continue to invest in innovation going forward. So that's really what I have for you today. I'm happy to take some questions if you have some. Yes.
I have to ask one question, though,
Yes.
of them. But,
Yeah.
but for everyone who wants to speak with Greg, please meet with him afterwards and
Yes.
follow up. And I thank you very much for sharing your
My
insights.
pleasure, yes,
and DHL's been changing our lives or answering the dreams in our lives for a long time with good packaging. So thank you.
It's good to meet you.